Sacred or temple prostitution is a sexual ritual consisting of intercourse or other erotic activity performed in the context of religious worship. Scholars have long considered such practices to be customary in the ancient world, but some prefer the term sacred sex to sacred prostitution in cases where a payment for service was not involved. Ancient Near Eastern societies along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers featured many shrines and temples or ziggurats dedicated to various deities. According to the 5th century BC historian Herodotus, the rites performed at these temples included sacred sex rites, and I quote, "The foulest Babylonian custom is that which compels every woman of the land to sit in the temple of Aphrodite and have intercourse with some stranger at least once in her life. Most sit down in the sacred plot of Aphrodite, by which the men pass and make their choice, and once a woman has taken her place there, she does not go away to her home before some stranger has cast money onto her lap and had intercourse with her outside the temple. But while he casts the money, he must say, 'I invite you in the name of Mylitta.' It does not matter what the sum of money is, the woman will never refuse, for that would be a sin. The money being by this act made sacred." So she follows the first man who casts it and rejects no one. After their intercourse, having discharged her sacred duty to the goddess, she goes away to her home, and thereafter there is no bribe, however great, that will get her. So then the women that are fair are soon free to depart, but the uncomely have long to wait, because they cannot fulfill the law, for some of them remain for 3 years or 4. So in other words, in ancient Babylon, it was a sexual rite expected of every woman, no matter how wealthy her family was, to prostitute herself at least once, and for the females that were not attractive, according to Herodotus, this could potentially take years to fulfill. According to the noted Assyriologist Samuel Noah Kramer, kings in the ancient Near Eastern region of Sumer established their legitimacy by taking part in ritual sexual acts in the temple of Ishtar every year on the 10th day of the New Year festival. In Hammurabi's Code of Laws, dating back to about 1750 BC, the rights and good name of female sacred sexual priestesses were protected. The same legislation that protected married women from slander applied to sacred prostitutes and their children. They could inherit property from their fathers, collect income from land worked by their brothers, and dispose of property. These rights are pretty extraordinary, taking into account the role of women at the time. The Hebrew Bible uses 2 different words for prostitute, Zona and Kadesha. The word Zona simply meant an ordinary prostitute or loose promiscuous woman, but the word Kadesha literally means consecrated or holy and set apart. The Bible states that the Canaanite cults practiced these sex acts, but it had no place in the Israelite religion. Deuteronomy says that none of the daughters of Israel shall be Kadesha, nor shall any of the sons of Israel be Kadesh. The Akkadian counterpart of Inanna was Ishtar, the goddess Ishtar, and the Canaanite equivalent was Astarte, whom the Greeks accepted under the name of Aphrodite. The Roman equivalent was Venus. In ancient Greece, sacred prostitution was known in the city of Corinth, where the temple of Aphrodite employed a significant number of very charismatic female sex servants who were quite educated, known as hetairai, during classical antiquity. The Phoenician city Heliopolis, or Baalbek, continued to practice temple prostitution until the Emperor Constantine closed down the sex rights in the 4th century AD. In the southern and eastern Indian state Odisha, Devadasi is the practice of dedicating prepubescent and young adolescent girls from villages in a ritual marriage to a deity or a temple, who then work in the temple and function as spiritual guides, dancers, in service to the temple. Human Rights Watch reports claim that this is basically sex slavery, and at least in some cases the practice involves prostitution for upper caste members. This ancient custom is practiced in the far western regions of Nepal, where a young girl is still offered to the local temple to serve, as in India, but it's in decline. The Inca sometimes dedicated young boys as temple prostitutes, and the boys were dressed in girls' clothing, and chiefs and headmen would have ritual homosexual intercourse with them during religious ceremonies and on holidays. For the Aztecs, only female prostitution was tolerated that I'm aware of, and religious prostitution was widespread. My name is Robert Sepehr. I'm an author, producer, and anthropologist specializing in linguistics, archaeology, and paleobiology, or archaeogenetics. I'd like to invite you to explore some of these mysteries with me in an attempt to unlock the riddles which have eluded any serious consideration in mainstream academia. Species with amnesia, our forgotten history, gods with amnesia, subterranean worlds of inner earth, the occult secrets of Vril, and 1666 redemption through sin. Please subscribe for updates and kindly share my posts if you find them of value, and I humbly thank you for listening.